Hey guys, this is part 3 of my How to Take Height series here on my YouTube channel, and this is the final part that we'll be covering. Again, we'll be VOD reviewing Leo, Death, and Spike, just because of how fascinating their retakes are and how well executed their height takes are in general. So, yet again, we see that they are just elevated right away. And to give some context, this is a sort of dead game, and this is one of their last games that they're going to play. I believe it is the last game of the tournament. So that's something that usually ends up happening in tournaments in general, even if it's semifinals, is that the longer the tournament goes in general, they tend to be less stacked. But in this case, it's okay because their height take is just as good, and also it's a really good thing to understand and learn how to play dead games, because sometimes people get really good at stacking because that's all they practice, that's all they scrim for, and then later on in a dead game they really don't know how to play and it feels uncomfortable, right? Because it's not an environment that they're used to, and that's something that we could really learn in this game and we can really understand. Just to remind everyone, this is something that they always do. They elevate themselves on a higher layer and just make sure that they have a ton of vision around their surroundings so they can see everything, and their future rotates will be a lot easier, and then they can put themselves in a situation where height will be very easy and it snowballs into that sort of effect. So we'll skip ahead to half zone. If we see where they are, they're currently down here. So the funny thing is that they pull half zone. They get really lucky and pull half zone in this corner. They really understand that because they pulled half zone, they're going to have really good mats later on to take height. And so because of that, they really don't need that much of an impact, right? They have one launch pad. They have peppers, which are amazing for height retakes. Peppers in general are a really good tool for you to take height. So be sure to abuse that. So again, they understand that they have enough mats for height, so they really don't need to force anything. They're not going to take it right now because of how high it is, right? You see this team right here, they're extremely high, and it's just not takeable at the moment. It goes completely downhill, and so what that's going to cause this team to do is to have to go down. If Leo, Spike, and Death are paying attention, they should know this, right? They're going to have to drop. During that timing of when this team drops, that's going to be a perfect opportunity for Leo, Spike, and Death to really take height from them. So understanding these sort of scenarios where zone goes up a mountain, zone goes down a mountain, is really important to understand, and sometimes that just comes through game experience, but VOD reviewing and really understanding these scenarios is going to be really important. Look how they're staggering completely. They can't really get down right now, and then they have to kind of drop late after everyone underneath them has already moved, right? Because if they drop early and sit down here, they're going to get beamed in the back. They're about to execute their amazing plan of a height take. Just to really emphasize, you can see the trail here. Every single one of them is peppered. So right before they launch pad, Leo dropped each one of them as pepper, and they're all peppered up. Look at this split. The Spike and Death are going to head to the front of zone and take height from here, while Leo lands right here and then completely pinch height and force them to get down. The Spike is going to the front of zone with Death. Death is going to immediately crank up. Look where Leo is. We'll watch from Leo's perspective, because he does a really good job of 1v3ing and just holding the enemy height, right, and not getting any free damage on himself. Death is looking from this angle, landing on height and looking at from this angle, and these guys just have no chance. Like, they have nothing they can do. This is really good height take. That sort of split where you send 2 to the front and 1 in the back on old height works really well when zone's going down a mountain. It's going down a mountain, which means height is gonna have to stagger and kind of go late because they're restricted and going early. They can't really go early, okay, because they're gonna have to wait for everyone else to go so they don't get beamed in the back, and then they go late, and then Leo, Death, and Spike are gonna really abuse that. They're gonna completely abuse that and take height. Now game's over. Spike in the meantime is all the way ahead. He's already established ahead of zone, so no one can crank from ahead and third party them. Remember how in episode 1 we talked about the third party reason of why you should take height? So if Spike gets all the way ahead and covers this angle, Blake, Scoped, and Okus cannot think about third partying height. That's why it's super important for Death and Spike to be ahead and establish height like this. It's really interesting to see because of the fact that in episode 1 of the Taking Height series, we saw Leo, Death, and Spike completely third party a team on height, and now they're doing the exact thing that can prevent that. So let's talk about the reasons as to why Leo, Death, and Spike took height here. Number 1 reason, it's going downhill, and that's going to cause height to go late. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that Leo, Spike, and Death are peppered up. Peppers are extremely strong because of the fact that you can ramp up so fast and gain a lot of layers of height really fast. Third reason, they pulled half, okay? They pulled half, and that allows them to save a ton of mats and understand that their mat count is really good for a height retake. They didn't have to waste mats going from fort zone into half zone, so because of the mats saved, they're able to take height really easily. Fourth reason, they have a launch pad. If you notice, in all 3 episodes, they use their launch pad to really retake height. This is only really possible in this current meta. So once the launch pad goes away and we go back to like a no mobility meta, if we do, it's going to be a completely different strategy in general to retake height. And their formation, guys, that's really their 5th reason. They have some sort of pre-planned formation where some people go ahead and some people go back. And so that sort of height take is really good because it completely forces this team to get off height. Leo lands ahead, really rehearsed. Spike is going straight up for the front. Death is going straight up for the front. They see this foundation right here that they can build on, and that's really strong. Okay, and these guys are just screwed. 2 of them have to spray up at Leo because he's beaming their tunneler, right? And they're just completely behind. Death is cranking right now, which is amazing. It's exactly what he needs to do. And then now Death is gonna spray at the remaining 2. This guy already gave up, like he's gone. He's completely gone. And so Death is going to spray from here. They have no choice. They can't just like wall off Death because then Leo's going to spray at them, right? Like this is a problem. There's no, this is checkmate. There's nothing they can do. Okay, so that's why Pepper, you see how fast? Let me just rewind this a little bit. Look how fast Death gets up to height. And so Leo in the air is going to see this, right? They're about to pad. They're going to see this. I want you guys to pay attention to Death. Okay, look how fast he ramps up because of the Pepper. This is the sort of thing you can do. And so you can easily take height while they're distracted from Leo. And then Death is going to beam, just like I said before. Spike, not really concerned. He's sort of blocking off the third parties and making sure that they have height. Spike knows they have height, right? He knows. So then he's just worried about this. They cannot get third partied at all. And it's a really good formation in general. And at this point, like I always say in all my episodes, height is really, really easy to win at this point. Okay. And almost everyone knows how to play. This is the end of the How to Take Height series. We'll watch Spike, Death, and Leo close out this game. But in the comments, please let me know if you guys learned anything new. In general, height is a really complex topic, and it can be overwhelming at times, but it is a super rewarding thing to go for in general, okay? So if you guys spend a lot of time learning how to do this and learning, there's a ton of stuff that I haven't covered in this series in terms of terrain, right? The different terrain scenarios can often affect how you take height, and the different formations you can have on the retake. Like, these guys are really good at retaking. I'm sure they haven't like spent 20-30 minutes in creative. They haven't done like some sort of, you know, rehearse thing. This is just their game sense kicking in and really understanding how to play height. But this is something you could totally practice in creative. It doesn't hurt, right? Like, just understand, talk to your teammate, tell them what to do, tell them what to sort of how to form like a formation on height. Make sure not everyone's going ahead or everyone's going back. Do something like they did in this video, right? It's going to be really helpful if you sort of talk to your teammates out of game first so that everyone is on the same page, and then when it's last second, when you're about to take height, there's not sort of, you know, chaos and confusion because everyone's already talked about it before and everyone knows what to do. It's almost too late if you're coming up with a new idea middle of the game, okay? So you guys need to practice and prepare for this if you want it to work. So let me know in the comments if you guys learned anything new. And this is Zykoma. We're just gonna watch the rest of the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video.